Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Isabel. I'm a leather crafter based in Germany, and today we are going to make a clamp jig where we can clamp in long straps of leather like belts or long shoulder straps for bags. And I will link all the materials I use in the description, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment them and I will try to answer all of your questions. So let's get started.
So the first thing we will need are 2 strips of wood. The ones I used are 1 meter in length, which is about 39 inches, 6 centimeters in width, which is 2.4 inches, and 2 centimeters in height, which is 0.8 inches. Then we will need a drill and some bolts, some washers, and some wing nuts. I used for all of them size M8, which is about 8 millimeters in diameter, which is about 5/16 of an inch. Then you need some sanding paper and a sanding block to sand rough edges if you have any. Because my edges were pretty sharp, I sanded the edges so I would have a more comfortable grip, and also to prevent scratches on the leather when the leather strips are clamped in. So I just sanded them until I felt like they were smooth enough. Next, I measured the distances where I wanted to install the bolts. I first wanted to use 5 of them, but while I was working on it, I decided to use only 3 because those were more than enough to hold the 2 wood pieces together. So I measured then, and I put some wooden blocks under the wooden strip so I wouldn't drill into my workbench. And I drilled the holes for the bolts. Like I said, this is size M8. You can do smaller ones, but for me those were big enough so that the wing nuts that I wanted to use to tighten the bolts were big enough so you could properly grab them. So keep in mind, if you use smaller ones, I guess they would be good to hold the straps of leather, but the wing nuts would be smaller, and I guess it would be a bit more difficult to tighten them and untighten them. So in order to have a proper grip and to loosen the screws or the bolts, I used size M8. And like I said, I originally wanted to use 5 of them, but after I installed 2, I measured the distance between the 2 of them again and put 1 bolt in the middle. So I have 3 bolts in total. And I used washers on the front and on the back side so that the screws or the head of the bolts would not sink into the wood. And now when you have installed these bolts, you can just see how far you have to loosen the bolts and the screws in order to clamp in the leather strips. You just need to open them a little bit so that the space between the 2 wooden strips is wide enough to put the leather in. Yeah. And I was thinking of adding some wood underneath to give it a bit more of stability, but I found that the width of the 2 wooden strips is good enough to keep everything stable on the working bench while you sand and polish the edge of the leather strips. So I decided to keep it this simple and not to add any other sort of construction underneath the 2 wooden strips. So this is what it looks when it's finished.
Hi everybody, so we finished this little project. This is the finished jig. It's 1 meter long and it is finished with 3 of these bolts. I wanted to use 5 of them in the beginning, but while I was building it, I realized that 3 are more than enough, because it's actually a bit fiddly to tighten these little wing nuts, and because the bolt is rotating with it when you're actually fastening it, so 5 of them would be a little bit too much to do every time you use this. So I think that 3 bolts hold the strap in place more than enough. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you find this helpful, and yeah, see you in the next video.